Incongruity and general messing around with sound effects can be intentional, of course, a playful technique associated particularly with the French New Wave and with one director in particular, Jean-Luc Godard. You might have a dance sequence, say, featuring a beautiful young woman and two men. Suddenly the recorded music is taken away, leaving only the realistic sound of their steps on the cafe floor. The footsteps of Karina in Jean-Luc Godard's 1964 film Bande à part. The Danish-born actress had travelled to Paris in her teens. By the time she was 21, she'd be a film star, thanks to her work with Godard. She won a Silver Bear in Berlin for Une femme est une femme. The run of films with him included Vivre sa vie, Le Petit Soldat, Pierrot le Fou, and Alphaville. Karina was his star, his wife, inspiration for characters and even lines. And although the marriage ended in 1964, they continued to collaborate. In fact, Karina's recently been in London to promote a season of Godard's films at the BFI South Bank. She told me how back in those defining days of the New Wave, they first met.
He asked me to play a little part in Breslau's A Bout de Souffle. He said to me, behind his dark glasses, he said, "You have to take your clothes off." So I said, "I don't want to take my clothes off." So I didn't play the little part. And time passes by, and suddenly 3 months afterwards, I got a telegram again saying, "This time, mademoiselle, it might be for the main part." I said, "No, well," but I had all my friends saying, no. He just did a great film, this guy called Breslau's. I said, that rang a bell. I said, "Is that the guy with the dark glasses?" He said, "Yeah, that's him." I said, "But he asked me to take my clothes off the first time." I'd say, "Yes, but you have to go and see him, but because this time it sounds serious, So I went to see him again. I said, "I don't have to take my clothes off, I hope." And he said, No, it's a political film," he said. I said, "Political film? But I could never play a political part. I don't know nothing about the war in Algeria. I could never make a speech. It's a political speech." He said, "Don't you worry about that. You just have to do what I tell you to do."
But then after Le Petit Soldat comes this whole run of films, so many different styles, so many different subjects. Were you constantly discussing with him? Did he say, "I want to do this thing"?
No, he never discussed a lot with nobody, with no actor. No. It was like a very natural thing because we didn't have time to discuss anyway because we got the dialogue, I tell you, 5 minutes before the shooting, every morning. So, you'd have to learn the lines, and so you have no time to discuss. He invented this, very natural thing where you would do like you do in life. You light the cigarette and you walk over there, you take a glass, you drink it, and you do so and so, And we had to do all that, which was not that normal at that time to do that. And it was very normal, natural with the dialogue. So it kind of, without really discussed, like the Americans, they discuss a lot. Why do I have to walk over there? Why do I have to look out of the window? Why do I have to stop? We didn't have that kind of thing.
But quite often I wondered, you must have brought a lot to these films. For example, in Vivre sa vie, there's a wonderful scene where you suddenly start dancing to some music, and you will dance in several other films after that.
That was never rehearsed, I was just improvising it. But what I really liked about Jean-Luc's old films is that I have the chance to play many different parts. It was never the same part, Like many actors always do, quite always the same part. What I liked was it's totally different, because it's more fun.
But at the same time, he did use things about your relationship. He put those on screen too.
Oh yeah, he did that. But he did, yes. For instance, but not with me. With Brigitte Bardot, when she say, "I only want the red curtains," things like that, or.
So that was something that you had said?
Yeah, that's something I've said in life, in the apartment.
So he then puts that into Le
But
Mépris.
he doesn't. I think it's cute.
So you didn't mind? You didn't
No, I
mind.
didn't mind. No, come on. No.
But that idea that things about your personal life and the films themselves would overlap so closely, that must have been a sensitive area even at the time. Perhaps. Was that never difficult?
Oh, it was difficult to live with Jean-Luc because he was 10 years older than me. And he had this real, it's sometimes very serious, and sometimes he would say, I'm going to buy the cigarettes around the corner and I'll come back. And he would come back 3 weeks later, at a time where the women had no money, no checkbook, nothing, And that was pretty. He would come back with a lot of gifts too. So I would find out where he had been, because of course when you buy things in Italy, it's not the same thing as if you buy it in the United States at that time. So I would know if he went to see Faulkner, if he went to Sweden to see Bergman, or if he went to see Rossellini in Italy. No, but I would know right away where he has been because it was the mark,
From the labels
yeah,
and the clothes.
labels, yeah. Oh. And that was always, and then he would write me many beautiful letters too. But then it could be impossible sometimes, It was like a fight all the time. But not about the work, no.
Because even after you were no longer together, you carried on working.
Yeah. Not about the work.
And so there was no change as far as the work was concerned.
No. I was like all the others, I had to. I had my text at the last moment, my dialogues, and when we were doing Pio le Fou, he would live alone because he had to write, of course, all the dialogues because there was nothing. And sometimes when the distributor asked for a scenario, then he would have somebody to write down whatever he wanted. He would never shoot it. He wouldn't even read it, And just to please, the producer or the distributor, because he's not, he said, we have no script. We can't do the film, He said, well, give it, but just write anything. We'll pay for that, what you write.
And obviously your relationship...
It was funny in that way.
But your relationship with Jean-Luc Godard has continued over the years, and you're here, for example, to talk about this season of his films. So clearly there's been a continuing relationship.
I think he does not mind. I don't think he minds because I have only good things to tell about him. I mean, he's a great director. The whole world thinks so. And to live with Jean-Luc is another problem, that's for sure.
I got a little surprise for you.
Really, what a coincidence, because I've got a little surprise for you, too.
Something from Corsica.
Oh?
When you look at your filmography, there's one little thing from that period that is actually quite outside the whole Godard experience, which is you came to make a comedy film in Britain with Bob Monkhouse, a sex comedy.
And Alfred Marx.
And Alfred
directed
Marx.
by Robert Asher. Yeah.
That was very different.
And it was called She Will Have to Go. And she went. I was playing a Corsican girl. I went back to Paris afterwards. Yeah. Well, I know it was a comedy. I don't really remember the story.
I can play music too.
Really?
I like to sing you a serenade at Corsica. Serenada, Corsica. I like to show you how love is made in Corsica.
So the very final question is, what do you think the role of the muse is then? Because you're often described as being the muse to Godard in those years in particular. What is the role of the muse? What was it for you? People describe you as being the muse of Godard.
I have no idea, my sweet. I have no idea about that. I mean, I think it's a gift because, a great gift that people still like the films, and all that. I think it was lots of gifts.
Anna Karina, not amused at all. A season of Godard's films and TV programmes continues at the BFI South Bank in London until March. And there's a Godard box set released on DVD and Blu-ray on Monday.